Well, actor Will Smith is opening up again about that infamous Oscar slap in his first major TV interview since all of that drama at the Oscars, appearing on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Partly to promote his new movie, Emancipation, Smith told host Trevor Noah about the moment when he did, of course, as we all know, slap comedian Chris Rock on stage during that live Oscars broadcast 8 months ago, after Rock, of course, made a joke about Smith's wife.
That was a horrific night, as you can imagine. You know, there's many nuances and complexities to it, you know. But at the end of the day, I lost it. And you just don't know what's going on with people, you know. And I was going through something that night, you know. And not that, you know, justifies my behavior at all.
As you might remember, shortly after that slap, as expected, Will went on to win the Best Actor Oscar. It was supposed to be the greatest night of his career. Ultimately, though, he said it was one of the best and worst nights of his life. Smith ended up resigning from the Academy of Motion Pictures and then was banned from attending the awards ceremony for the next 10 years. He also posted a public apology to Chris Rock on social media. Rock has never really accepted that apology, though he has talked about it during some of his recent stand-ups. Now many are wondering if Will Smith can actually repair his career with this media tour and his ongoing apology. So let's talk about it. Stacy Jones, CEO and founder of Hollywood Branded, joining us now to take a closer look at Smith's strategy here. And look, there's an implication using the word strategy, I think, because he has a new movie coming out soon. There's already Oscar buzz about it. Let's be honest, Will Smith is a great Oscar-winning actor, regardless of other behavior. Is this promotional for the movie, or is it a genuine apology? People are on the fence, it seems like.
Well, Hollywood is a machine, if nothing else, right? So it's a little bit of both, but there's absolutely strategy here. His team has been working on it. This is not something that there's a known solution for. This is not something that is so horrendous as far as something he's done, but we're all taking it incredibly, you know, almost personally, because we like the guy, and this is not who we expected him to be.
Exactly. And listen, let's be honest, when it happened, it was stunning. I mean, it really was just a moment. Everyone was like, oh my Lord, what is going on? And it hit on issues of gender. It hit on issues of marriage. It hit on issues of race. It really did. There was a lot going on in that moment. If you just saw one guy hitting another, you missed a lot of subtext. But the thing that struck me last night during this interview with Trevor Noah was, Will says, I was going through something that night. Okay, and you certainly know a little bit about his past, abusive father toward his mother, and maybe some of the psychological ripple effects of all of that. But to me, a full apology requires him to say, what were you going through that night? What was it? He talks in very vague terms about it. Can this really be seen as genuine without specifics?
Well, he fell from a pedestal that night, and, you know, that his adoring fans had really placed him on. No matter what our green-eyed jealousy towards actors who have it all and the general belief that they should be perfect, the role of a celebrity comes with immense pressure to perform and keep it together. We forget that despite stardom and money and adoring fans, celebrities were just once normal people too, and are no more naturally equipped to handle messing up than you or I. And does he need to come out and say specifically exactly what was happening with him? He was on a high that night, and you know, he was included in skits, he was given accolades. He had just had the previous many months building up, from his book release to his film, to being touted as Hollywood's #1 it guy. It didn't need to have that much going on to have tilted him off of that pedestal to make him fall, because that was a lot of emotion that he was riding on.
Wow. Chris Rock, to me, was a victim of what you could argue was an assault that night, after arguably a pretty sophomoric joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. What is he saying? Is any not damaged? Because certainly he's not damaged because people saw him as a victim. What's been the impact on him? He's addressed it in drabs in some comedy shows, but he's never done the big sit-down interview or released too lengthy of a statement. How has he gotten out of this whole thing?
Well, he was full of grace that night. I mean, if you sit there and you rewatch what absolutely happened, he was presenting in front of tens of millions of people, and he barely missed a stride. That put him in a different, I think, level of respect for a lot of people. He also handled it with so much aplomb. And you've seen more people coming to his comedy shows. You've seen people who've really supported him. And so I think it's not that he was a winner that night by any means. There's no winning from this. But he did come out ahead than where he potentially was at that moment.
He did say last night I told a story, got a little emotional, talked about his 9-year-old nephew who watched the ceremony that night, and the nephew's on his lap back at home, 9 years old, holding the Oscar, holding the little bald gold guy, and asked him, "Why did you hit that man, Uncle Will?" And he said, "That's not who I want to be." So he did get emotional with this, but I think some people will be skeptical because it's been so long since the incident. And people are wondering if this is a connection again to the movie. But again, we all have short memories individually and as a country. Does he get by this, especially if he has a hit movie in a few months?
Well, you know, the timing is absolutely because of the movie. There's no doubt about it, right? There's a reason for him to be making the press rounds. There's a reason for people to want to actually be booking him. Back in July, he actually came out, he videotaped an apology in a Q&A style interview where they would pop up a question on the screen and he would answer it. And then that was picked up by media and broadcast, and that itself got a lot of media. He's been getting attention. I mean, we use a media monitoring service called Critical Mention, and they search all TV, all online, all radio to see how many verbal mentions and how much people are being talked about in the media. And he's gotten over 350,000 mentions with 1.3 trillion impressions. And that's a value in PR, positive or negative, of over $31 billion. That's what the numbers say. So he has been in the media this entire time, just not telling his side of the story, except for in small bursts here and there in July and then through the written media as well. Timing's good. He was able to warmly be brought into Trevor Noah's show. He's a good friend of his. It was something that was a soft cushion for him to be able to approach and talk about. And he needed actually something else to talk about besides just being under the radar and the spotlight of defending himself. So they were able to blend it. He was able to talk film. He was able to talk who he is, bring up his book. That was important.
Stacy, thanks so much for giving us some time and some insight. We'll see how it all plays out. Certainly a talker story for sure.